Hey guys, thank you for joining us again for another exciting episode of YOML. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast, and today we have Reflection 358. We're almost there. 365 is where we close the first journey,
Yeah,
365 journey. But
first leg. Yeah,
it's. I mean, with
almost there.
today, it's a book by one of my favorite author. I'll let Chris introduce it, but this is my one of my favorite book as well.
Yeah, this is one of your favorite books, like this particular one.
Incerto,
Yeah.
Incerto.
Oh, just a series. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, this particular one, the game was probably my all of the 5 books in the series or whatever. I don't know. Where does this rank on your order of?
I think it needs to have the introductory in the other books that he introduces, and this book is what it comes down to, right? The other book presented the discoveries and your observations of the world, and then this is where, okay, how do I deal with these things, right? How do I, not just being a random number? How can I be not just a statistic? In
Right.
in order for you to saw to kind of like what is the answer? And I think this book is not as good as the other book because it doesn't give you a lot of aha, but
Yeah. That's
it
yeah.
pinpoints down to say, okay, this is why we have the other information and what are all that comes down to and how do we deal with it. So I
Right.
think this book isn't as discovery and exploratory as the other books, but I think it provides significant like wrapping up of
It,
what
that's
he's talking
exactly what it
about.
was. Yeah, that's exactly what this book is to me. It was like putting a bow on his philosophical views. I felt like this one was more, well, I mean, I think what you said summing up is a perfect example, but I thought this one was more like him just repeating himself, like taking little things from all the other books combined, and then kind of, like you said, just wrapping it up
Right.
in a nice little bow. But
It's more
it
like
was
this is the issue I've seen and this is how it happened, and they're talking about, the extremist stand and all
right.
this,
But that was all from other books. They were all concepts that he already had touched on. I feel like there's a
so he
touch of
brings it down and he said,
yeah,
well, this is what we talked about before. Well, what
right.
does this all mean? And this is what I see today is people don't have this, and this is how these things carries on. And you look at the system of what America, like other people do, it just they don't have this, this concept, which is the skin in the game concept. And this is
Oh
where
yeah.
you see people are like completely not. I agree.
They don't have any
They
skin in
lack
the game. I mean,
they
yeah.
lack they lack this concept, right?
Right.
In a way, you can say, well, this is like, hey, a summary of all the other books he said, or this is a book where he stopped bashing other people. But he's making a point.
I'm
you
not
know,
saying it wasn't entertaining. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy this one. I always loved this guy's general vibe and philosophies on life and his curiosity. To be honest with you, I couldn't finish this journey, the 365 journey, without finishing this. So that was why I chose this book,
so did
one of the
you
last
include
ones. Yeah.
anti-fragile in here, right? We did an
Yeah.
anti-fragile, right?
Yeah, we did. There was a 3-part reflection for Anti-Fragile. There was a
Okay.
5-part reflection for Black Swan.
Well, the better Procruster is
I,
not inside Inseto. It's just
right,
his collections of bumper stickers. Which what
right.
Connor Hayes, having bumper stickers.
Exactly. And then Fooled by Randomness was, I think the order that I went in was Black Swan, Fooled by Randomness, then Anti-Fragile, then the Beta Percustus, and then finished off with Skin in the Game. But the thing is like, I mean, I'm not. I'll get into the reflection because it's not even worth talking about our feelings on the series itself, but because that's not the point of this. This isn't like a book review, but it was
Right, it's a
I
reflection. So
right, it's a reflection,
maybe.
right? Of what we learned. But like personal feelings, I kind of found it funny with you started off with like Fooled by Randomness, which was his first book, right? And it was very scientific-y, it was very mathematical, it was very almost it felt like what do you call it?
It's like a left field
PhD.
kind of concept. It's like,
Yeah,
hey,
right.
there's a concept out there that is very hard to understand, and people
Right.
just don't get it. And
Right.
then he goes and said, well, now I'm gonna give you some concrete example of what it means by full randomness, i.e., the Black
And that
Swan.
was the Black Swan. Yeah, right. And that book was like the whoa
Like,
book,
oh, I see.
yeah,
I
right,
got
right.
it.
Yeah.
The other one
Like
was, but if
right.
you, and then even the Black Swan, right? The Black Swan, like you and I were just saying, if you don't have the foundation, you can say, hey, what does it matter if I wake up today?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a dangerous book. I remember saying that to you. I was out on a walk down the street one day and I was reading this book and it was like we were a couple months into knowing each other. I was like, I just finished this awesome book. I was like, but good God, if you do not have your bearings around you, like this book will fuck your brain up, and it is very true. I mean, it's wild to think how long ago that was. But yeah, no, I feel like Black Swan was like his peak and pinnacle of his curiosity, him tying in his own personal life into this and exploring a lot of these topics and being very playful with it, and being very open and curious, and just exploring with his writing and his life and marrying all that stuff together. I felt like that was like one of the reasons why I personally love that book the most. And then Anti-Fragile was really good too, but it was almost there, but it was like he was deep into the hole now, and he was like, pulling out another new concept, which was great because the concept was a new concept and great, and I liked it a lot. But this one was like, I feel like he was just an old man yelling at things, like get off my lawn, kind of like at
Right,
the
but
ease
I
of
think
his
that's
wits,
perspective. So
Right.
because I
Yeah.
think it's perspective because I think you and I kind of knew the information based on the books that we read before, right?
Right.
And to me, that is like, well, he's not presenting anything new per se. He's just taking the information and say, this is the insight, this is the wisdom I'm giving you. People don't do these because they don't have skin in the game. And that's the only thing he's talking about. And he talks many things about examples of why that is and why it's not, right? And so you're talking about Indian Seto, right? You like the Black Swan. To me, the Black Swan is probably my second favorite book.
Mhm.
My best book would be the Anti-Fragile because that to me has much more information from my view than the
Right.
Black Swan. Even the Black Swan does
Yeah, I
have a
agree.
lot of good nuggets of information, but from a techie and science and mathematic guys, I kind of like, yeah, I,
Right. Right.
I do have the ability to learn about like more insight into what he meant, right? And so for me, anti-fragile is to me is like I have never thought of it. This is
Right.
something that is completely like changed the way I think about things.
I don't agree that that was my favorite book. I think it was more of his writing style of Black Swan that he presented a lot of the topics that I found highly entertaining as well as learning something. I think that's probably one of the reasons why I like the Black Swan so much personally. But I agree with you. I do think Anti-Fragile had a lot more newer topics and deeper,
But to me, anti-fragile is something I still has not like fully grasped in terms
right.
of the concept he's talking about because it's much deeper than people can really relate to.
Yeah.
We were talking about like this is where I think people I guess fall short in terms of taking a single example, a single facet from a kind environment and take it over and translate over to the dynamic and the work environment. Like, hey, we're talking about focus in your backhand, right?
Right.
Because that one facet does not correlate to that's the only thing you do, and it's going to cover everything that you need to do in terms of winning the game. Because in life, the life of game has more variables and more facets than just a few variables in a game of chess or in a game of tennis.
Right.
That's why I think people miss the point. The anti-fragile is where I think it presents more of a framework. I think that you can take it and run it through the formula and say, okay,
Right.
how do I find this anti-fragile and what is fragile versus anti-fragile? Because I think everything has the root in both of those. So
Right.
I think it's much harder for us to make sense of because we never think about that before. And I think
Yeah.
for
No, I agree.
me that was like a complete aha. I said, well, there is this other world of fragile because you think, hey, when a glass falls to the ground, it shatters, right? But
Right.
are there things that would do the opposite of that?
Right.
With some in
Not
some
shy.
of his
Yeah.
example,
Right.
he does present some of that.
Yeah, he does. I mean, it's a very interesting topic. What I actually find really on a meta level interesting on this whole
Mhm.
of this initial conversation is I never in my wildest dreams ever would have imagined us like in my entire life debating this concept of this series of this author that we're so I mean I would have never ever in my wildest imaginations been like yeah, let's really pick apart this guy's entire life's writings, because we've really studied it and done a lot of reflection and conversations and applied it to our life. And we can have an educated conversation about all this stuff, right? And really look at this guy's work in totality from start to finish. Never in my wildest dreams would I've ever thought that would have been a conversation I would have actually had in my entire life. I mean, I don't know about you, but
Same way. I don't
right,
think I've ever stopped to think about, hey, I'm going, you and I, we would have this kind of a talk about some meta like universe
Right.
of concept,
Anti-fragility and
anti-fragilities and randomness and
right.
probability. It's like what?
What alternate universe are we in at this point in time? That we're 350 podcasts into different books and lessons and life lessons we've learned and stories about the journey that we've been on together. It's just wild. It's just wild to zoom out a little bit and go like, man, like that's pretty cool. I mean, it is pretty cool. This is why learning is so fun. Because it opens up new questions and new concepts and new talk, things to go explore, and it's fun to go explore with people. All right, on to the reflection. So while we just talked about the book in general, right, and the Inserto series and finishing up, which I think that was fair, given that, this is probably one of the more impactful voices in this journey. I would say that was outside of our own voices. Given Taleb his due, I guess, with a recap of all of his work, it's fair. For this particular book, skin in the game was not a new concept. As a matter of fact, I wrote about it, if you remember, in reflections back for either Black Swan or Anti-Fragile. I think one of the titles was Soul in the Game, right? Like, I don't even think skin in the game is enough. I think soul in the game. I think you need to have your whole fucking self, purpose, and who you are on the line and whatever you're doing for me to respect any of that at that point in time. I will never listen to any armchair quarterback that's in the studio giving advice to Patrick Mahomes about how to be a better quarterback. You don't know, like, we can all sit around and just, pretend like, hey, True, I can tell you how to go. Tell me how to be the best golfer in the world right now. Go ahead and tell me.
You hit the ball into the hole.
Thank you so much. All you gotta do is hit
Oh, your hole.
Look, I can tell you how to code. All right, you take HTML language and you put it together. And
you take the code and you put it together.
Right. And then there you go. Like, it's that easy. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, man. The element of not having skin in the game is the most basic level, right? If you don't have any skin in the game, definitely don't ever listen to that person. But honestly, I'm saying take it a step further. Don't ever listen to somebody unless they have their full soul in the game.
Of the book. It's like,
Right.
why are we believing all these people who are making policies for us when they don't have a skin in the game? They don't have anything that ties them to anything they do.
Right.
And so it's like, do as I say, not as I do kind of mentality. And this is what he's grappling about. I mean, I think I would grab about it too, because if you think about it, you should be pissed off. If you're not pissed off, you don't understand how much hypocrisy is going on. And to me,
it's not even
this is where
hypocrisy. It's misguiding people. Like, it's the eat the frog bullshit. Like, I bet Brian Tracy doesn't wake up and eat the fucking frog every single day.
he goes
But
to
I
and
bet he
he
doesn't.
It's like he like order his breakfast and blah 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 in his pajamas and wake up like 10 a.m. in the morning,
Right.
and he
And
does
like,
whatever, and he
like,
talks to
you get a
somebody for
creme
2
brulee, bro.
seconds.
Like, what are you talking about? Eat that frog.
Yeah.
You're eating a
I mean, this
fucking.
is the reason why I'm saying it. Why are the people who talk about marriages and talk about how to be a good husband or a good wife or whatever, fucking priests and monks?
Right.
I mean, tell me how to become a
great question.
monk, how to become a priest, but no, because
And they give
I don't know about you, but
advice,
did you ever you married in the Catholic Church, right?
Yeah.
You had to go to marriage preparation.
Yeah, we did.
Who's your counselor?
So it was our
priest, but
we just did the online courses they told us to take, and then we were like,
but that's my point. Is like
yeah.
every single people who have no rights whatsoever to talk about how marriage should work.
Oh, we didn't get married in the Catholic Church. My wife is Lutheran, and we got her uncle married us. We got married down in San Antonio. No, we did not get married in the Catholic Church. My family was really pissed about that, actually. Yeah.
But my point is that there are more people that is unqualified and far away from being qualified to talk about these things than the people that can. Because the thing is, who tells you how to manage your diabetes?
A doctor without diabetes.
Exactly, the doctor without diabetes.
Right.
And who tells you, hey, eat the frogs? I mean, you're rich already. What do you need the frog for? Why no one eat the frog? That could be stupid. Brian Tracy talks about eating a frog, and some.
What's Steve Jobs' philosophy? What's Elon Musk's philosophy? What are the practitioners in the world's philosophies? The answer is we don't know, because they don't talk about it, because they just fucking do shit. I don't mean that they don't have a philosophy. I just don't think that they talk about it. Like, you and I both have a philosophy. We talk about it together, but we're not out there broadcasting this. We're not out there giving seminars to people to say, this is the way.
We're not imposing our ideas onto people.
Right.
This is what I'm saying.
We're just having a conversation about it, Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying is this is why it pisses me off, and this is why you and I don't like philosophers, is because the thing is, it's fine, and I I respect your opinions. I respect whatever you do, but don't impose it on me,
Don't try to
right?
tell me that this is the way.
But that's
You
just
know,
what I'm
this
saying
yeah,
is the priest who tells me, okay, hey, true, you have to take this marriage counseling class, and the priest is the fucking guy who is the guy who's telling you how to be a good husband.
right.
Have you
And
ever
father
been?
and parent and future. You know,
I mean,
I
the
mean,
thing is, I just don't get it, and
I
a
don't
lot of
actually. It's a
monks,
great
a lot
question.
of monks do, all right? A lot of monks do, and the majority of the people who are in counseling, counselors, are in those positions. Not the one that has like great marriages. The guy that has like most divorces, most failed marriages, or the fucking guy that's telling you how to navigate it. Well, I make a lot of mistakes, so you learn from me. Learn from you how to make mistakes, because there are thousands of millions
Right.
of ways to make mistakes, and there's only a few ways to do it right. And I'm listening to a guy who makes seven,
Right.
six, eight, divorces, and say, well, I make 7, 8 divorces. That makes me an expert. And so to
Right.
me, that's why I agree with Taleb. Like, skin the game. I mean, I think if you think about it,
It's table stakes. You have to like to if you're gonna give it like I'm not going to if I'm in a 12 steps program, you know, I don't want to talk to somebody that's never had a drug addiction. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that I would relate to that at all. Like somebody that's had an atomic bomb event, like I don't want to fucking talk to you about that. You don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
I think to tell you, Chris, hey, I've coded so many different apps, and all the apps I created sucks, right? And everybody just ran away from me. Do you want me to help you create your apps?
I,
I have a lot of experience in creating like
shitty
shitty
apps.
apps.
You
Do you
know,
want to learn from me? Right? If you are a fucking terrible tennis player, am I gonna hire you to be my coach, Chris? This is what I'm talking about.
that's a
It's
good point. Yeah.
why these people, like, I'm talking about these people who are completely like fail in their marriages, fail in their career, fail in whatever
Right.
is teaching you how to do it.
Good
Some of
point.
their doctors, they can't even manage their own chronic disease. Some
Right.
doctors have chronic disease. May not have diabetes, but they have other chronic disease. They can't even manage theirs. How are they gonna
Right.
manage yours?
Great point, man. I totally agree with you. If I wanted to learn how to play pickleball from somebody, I would go talk to
You
a
wouldn't
pro
want to talk to
pickleball
a
player
guy
that's
who is like, you lost every game,
right. Hey man,
and
you're not that good
and
at
you broke your
pickleball. Like, you
racket
know,
every
yeah,
time,
yeah.
every single time, right? And you spend
I
like
mean,
millions of dollars on rackets because you broke them every time you play. You don't
I
want to
mean,
learn from that guy. It
I
doesn't matter how many games he plays.
no, I agree with you. Now that I think about it, my drug addict example does actually hold true because it was somebody that was an addict that became a non-addict and they're still
Yes,
sober.
that's the
That's who I
key.
want to lead my recovery, not the drug addict that's constantly failed, you know, in their sobriety. Like I don't want that guy. Like I mean, if
No,
I'm trying to become sober, I don't want somebody that's still using drugs. I tried to quit probably like 10 different times. Like if you would have asked me advice on how to quit smoking, I would have been like, well, I tried this and it didn't work. I tried this and it didn't work. No, I'm still smoking right now. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I can tell you all the things, but like it wasn't until that I did stop smoking that I could honestly say to somebody, well, this is how I did it, like, you know, and this is how it felt, and this is the process that I went through. Like, I'm happy to give that guidance to you if this helps, but like, you know, and how, but like, I can't tell somebody how to quit smoking if I hadn't quit smoking myself. That on that line of thinking, it reminds me of this Gandhi, Darren Daly. He talked about Gandhi one time where this mom brought her son to Gandhi and was like Mahatma, like my son, I can't get him to stop eating sweets, and you know it's gonna kill him or so. I can't remember exactly. The kid was like was like refusing to stop eating chocolates or something like that.
mhm.
And she was like, what can I do? And he goes, well, I want you to do this, like, you know, take him to do something or whatever for the next 2 weeks. And they didn't really tell him to do anything. He's like, come back in 2 weeks and I'll have an answer for you. And she was like, 2 weeks, what do you want? You know, like I need an answer now. And he was like, just come back in 2 weeks. So he comes back in 2 weeks and she's like, okay, what's the answer? How do I get him to stop? And he goes, well, the answer is stop eating sweets. And she goes, what are you talking about? He goes, you could have just told me that like 2 weeks ago. And he goes, well, I couldn't have told you 2 weeks ago because I was still eating sweets myself. So like now I'm not eating sweets. And now I feel like I can confidently say the key to stop eating sweets is to stop eating sweets. Like just stop eating sweets. You know, it was kind of along those lines as what you're talking about. It's like you can't tell somebody advice when, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, hey, Chris, or anyone, hey, this is the way to go to, Houston to Indianapolis, right?
right.
And say, well, I've never been there. How can I tell you?
Right.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no, you're right. Yeah.
I could imagine something completely different, completely off the path, and I tell you, hey, yeah, you gonna, it's not the right way, right? You go
Yep.
there, shit, this should not look like what I thought it looked like. People don't have the skin in the game. They often do that, and you and I are grappling right now. You and I are bashing the world right now, and
Hmm?
it is in right to say, look, these all these people
It's bullshit.
don't.
It's a bunch of it's bullshit. Actually, that's what this reflection's about. The silver rule, right? You know, it's due unto. So this was a new concept that I learned, and I actually really like this one. Side note: if I ever run for president, if I'm not, if I ever run for president though, and I have no intention to ever want to be in politics, but if I ever did run for president, my platform would basically be the silver rule platform. It would be I'm gonna do nothing because like I don't have the right to tell you all how to live your life, and I would not want somebody to tell me how to live my life in a certain way. So I'm going to, as the president, my platform will be I will do nothing. I promise you. This is my promise, and it'll be the hardest promise to keep of any politician that has ever lived. That like to do nothing as a politician is almost impossible because people are going to put so much pressure on you to do something. Like, hey, we need help with the bees in California. The bees are killing the crops. Like, and you're like, oh my God, I gotta help with the bees and the crops. Like, I don't know any fucking thing about the bees and the crops, but you guys, we should kill all the foxes because they're fucking with the bees and the crops. Like that should absolutely be that's what the scientists tell me. Let's do that. Legislation done. And then somebody comes to you with, my cows are the dairy prices are bad, and the macro economy or whatever. Like, help us. Like, we're the dairy farmers. We need help. And I'm like, oh God, well, yes, we should put legislation into to help you to I mean, it's so easy to help people. It's so hard to not help people, right? Like, it's like solve your own fucking problem, cow farmers. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know anything about farming. Like, I don't know anything about the dairy world. Nobody in my administration does either. So it's fine. Like, so that would actually be my platform is I will do nothing. Like, you have a problem? Sorry. Like, like figure it out. That's my platform. So vote for me. Would you vote for somebody that said that?
Probably not.
True. You got a problem? I won't help you.
I don't ask people to help with my problems. So
then why would you vote for somebody that's claiming to help with people's problems?
no, I'm not voting for people that's claiming to do anything.
You're voting for anyway. So on to my actual lesson of what I learned from this. The silver rule was new to me, right? So what we've learned, this is our third metallic rule that we've learned on this journey. First is the golden rule. Actually, we didn't learn that on this journey. That was already known.
Platinum rule.
We learned the platinum
everybody
rule.
knows about the golden rule because it was
Yeah.
kind of like shoved down our throat.
Right. When you're in kindergarten, you learn the golden rule.
You gotta learn how to share. You gotta the golden rule, right?
Right. Do unto others what they want, what you would do unto yourself, like, so like everybody knows the golden rule. The platinum rule was new to me, and this was something that was near and dear to my heart when I was going through all the stuff that we were going through. And this really, I think personally, the platinum rule applies when you're trying to help somebody else, right? And they're in need and they're in help, right? They need help.
I think the platinum rule should replace the golden rule.
No, I don't think it should replace the golden rule because I don't have the capacity to always be thinking about somebody else's life.
The golden rule is like, it's to me, it doesn't have any usage.
It really doesn't. I mean, yeah.
Because if you think about golden rule, it doesn't make sense. The only rule that it makes sense is you revise the golden rule to become the platinum rule. Then I say, well, that makes sense, right? Because you say, hey, do unto your to other like you do. I don't want what you want. Okay. So the platinum rule is say, hey, think about what he wants and give it to him. Don't say, hey, that's what I'm saying. Hey, if you are a pig, right? And you say, well, I want mud, all the dirty, all the the slime, whatever.
Right.
And you have somebody who is like maybe a cat who is grooming himself all day, all the time. You think the golden rule doesn't work? That's what I'm saying is the golden rule should be replaced.
I actually, you're right. I don't even know it should be replaced. It should just be eliminated, and it should either be the platinum rule or the silver rule. You should have two options: either do unto others what they want done to them, what they would want done to themselves, right? Which means that you need to. And if you don't know what that is, then you should default to the silver rule, which is do not do unto others what you would not want done to yourself. So if you don't know what somebody else needs in this particular moment, then do nothing. That should be the default, right? In my personal opinion.
That's
what
what
they
I'm
need,
talking about.
then
That's what
do
I'm talking
nothing,
about.
right? Like don't do
That's what I'm
something
talking
just to
about.
do
Because the
something.
thing is, the golden rule
It's just
has
doing something to
no
do something.
use. It has no usage. I mean, the
Yeah,
thing is, it actually makes it worse because the thing is,
it can.
you are like thinking you're helping somebody, but
Right.
in reality, to that person, the other person, reality is you are basically the opposite. The, hey, why you why you springing
Don't put
mud
that shit on
onto
me.
me, right?
Right.
You know,
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, you're talking about the dung beetle, right?
right.
Hey, I love dung. Who else love dung? Oh, I like dung, so you just spring
Yeah,
dung all over the place, and
just
then you think about the other side, say, I I'm now dirty. I don't want dirty.
right.
I don't want to be clean. So it's actually
Right.
the opposite. So the golden
It,
rule, it's shitty.
it is shitty. Well, the golden rule is neutral. At best, it's neutral.
No, golden rule to me, this is where
No, I'm
this
saying
is
at
where
best. I'm saying if you just happen to get lucky and you did unto others what they would want done to themselves just
but it
because
can't
you
be
just
a
happen to be
rule if
similar.
it's lucky.
I know. So I'm trying to say. I'm saying at best, it
It
is a
doesn't
neutral.
work.
It is neutral. Like at best, right? Like of the outcomes you expect from the golden rule. At worst, it is damaging, right? And
Probability wise, like it's majority of the time, it's the worst because
right,
you and I know people must damn everybody's individual, and so their needs are completely different. So
right,
this is where as a parent you come in and you try to tell your child to do this and do that. Well, that's not what they want. So you can't say, well, I'm doing this for you, or I'm this person where, oh, I work hard, or I'm hard on you because it's good for you. Fuck, lay off, okay?
right.
I don't want you come
Silver rule it,
into
right?
my
Yeah,
life and
like
kind of impose your fucking ideals onto me,
right,
which I don't like, right? For me, it's like you come to me and you say, hey, True, you need to work hard. You need to eat the frogs. You need to make a fucking dent in the universe. I say, I don't give a fuck about all that.
I don't care.
So,
Like
right?
I don't like. Hey,
And
don't tread on me, bro. Like that's your shit. Like what is the opposite of the platinum rule? What's the shittiest metal out there?
shit is metal?
Metal, like
Metal.
yeah. What shittiest metal out there?
All metals are precious.
Are they? I mean, is there a metal that everybody would be like zinc? Like it's like the zinc rule. Like it's like the opposite of
No, you
you
need
know.
zinc, dude.
Okay, all right.
You need
I'm not.
magnesium, you need iron, you need palladium, you need uranium, you need
All right, fair
everything.
enough. I don't have the mental creativity right now to come up with like the witty
What
thing of what I'm
metal
trying to
would
what I'm trying to
I
say
mean?
is the garbage that you give somebody.
I think the golden rule should be changed, which is like the golden rule is the guy with the goal make the rule. That makes sense.
Fair
The
enough.
goal makes those who has the goal makes a rule.
That makes more sense to me.
I
The
think
way
that's
that society actually
reality.
functions.
But the civil rule, right? The civil rule is to me the civil rule is the basis of all of societies, right? And then you're
Yeah,
talking about the
I
golden
agree.
rule, which is like the next level of how society functions. Meaning, I'm not saying about the rule that we know. The rule is the guy with the goal makes the money. It makes the rule, right?
You know,
That is the rule that people play by today. That's in practice. And
that's
then
the
the
word that people
next
have always
level
played
up,
by.
the first rule, right? The first
Right.
rule, the platinum rule, is everyone play by it.
Right.
Because what to prevent you from coming here and abuse me and talk shit about me and blah blah blah, right? What's stopping you?
What's stopping you? You
Only
think that you
thing
do
that's
it
stopping me is because you don't want me to punch you in the face.
exactly. That's so fucking smart. Like the Spanish conquistadors coming over to the New World, right? They practiced the golden fucking rule. They said, "Hey, you should deal with our religion. You should deal with our shit. You should take our diseases. Like do unto
Mhm.
others what we do to you." And they just fucking destroyed entire societies with the golden rule, like and transformed their religion. They literally went into the Aztec temples and said, "Hey, fuckers, like your gods aren't good, like, but these are." We our gods are better. Like I promise you, like I wouldn't accept a god that was inferior to this, right? So I'm gonna give you our gods. I'm gonna take out all of your shit that you guys practice and preach and your whole culture. It's just not as good enough, right? Like this is what we do, and this is what I would expect, right? So here you go. Like fuck you, like I mean that's the golden rule in action, kind of really. You know what I mean?
But
They
that's
thought
that
they were
that's
doing it for good reasons.
but that's the civil rule in a way because the civil rule is the basis of everything. Because you're talking about like
Right.
the conquistador, right? They go against the Romans army, like I say, well, I'm not gonna impose my religion on you.
Exactly.
because I don't want to get my head chopped off. But that's the beauty of it. But that's what I'm saying is the rule that I know, right, that I practice is the civil rule. There
You
is
should.
no,
I think we all should. I mean,
no,
unless
that's the only rule that matters.
unless you know, and like you know me good enough to know what I would probably need in a situation when I have needs. Like I think you know me good enough to know what I would want. And if you don't, then that's fine. But like if you know what would help me, then you should act. And that's the platinum rule. Don't act unless you absolutely know, right? Like, like
The
that's
civil platinum rule is the only rule that will be in use in rarity
in
when
rarity, very rare. It's very
that
rare.
person is like somebody like you have a good relationship with it. You know how what he wants.
Right.
Okay,
And they're trying to quit smoking or something, I can help them. And
exactly.
I know what to do,
The platinum rule is one of those things where, in a very very rare occasion, that you take it out. The civil rule is by default. Everybody plays by it. I don't care if you
Yeah,
know it.
that's
If they play
baseline.
by it, right? That's baseline because I think it's the only. If there is no if there's no civil rule, the world will be in chaos because everybody's gonna be bullied, right?
We're just gonna go around doing shit.
But at the same time, the civil rule always applies because it's not about whether you want to use it or not, but by default, it will apply to you. Because imagine you come to me and you punch me in the face. What do you think is gonna happen? There's
I'm
one.
going to do
There's a
unto
few.
others what I would want done to me.
Why I don't punch you in the face is because I don't want to get my face punched,
Exactly.
right?
Like it's
The
yeah.
reason this is the reason why there is separation of country and we have this diplomacy first, right?
This is
The civil rule will always apply, and the world operates on the civil rule.
this is what
And,
Taleb always calls via negativa, right? Or
Mhm.
the study of what not to do. Do no harm, right? Like,
Why don't I lie to
truthfully,
you? Why don't I lie to you? Why don't I go steal your money? Why don't I go and like
right,
kidnap your kid and
you could.
why don't I go and I could, right? Because
You
by the same
could, but you
time,
don't. I mean, like that's the truth. You stop doing it because you're like, I wouldn't want somebody to fucking come rob my house and kill my kids and whatever. Like, so I guess I'm not gonna do that to them.
exactly. So civil rule is always in play, regardless
Right.
of whether you know it or not, or you want to do or not. But this is the reason why the point I'm trying to make is people need to understand, like the civil rule is by default, the rule that governs how society acts. But
Right.
in instances where the civil rule is bent, right? This is where you have bullying. You talk about conquistador going over to the Aztec and bullying them because they didn't put up a fight. Same thing in school. These guys are bullying, but at the same time, there are civil rule that is in play. That means that whether you're a bully or not, it will bring you consequences for doing just that. I mean, you're talking about the conquistador. You're talking about, because you go and you say, well, I go and I conquer the Aztec, the Inca, and all that. The Romans come over and conquer you. The Macedonian come over, the Persian comes over and conquer you. And that's a civil rule there. And the golden rule goes hand in hand. Because the golden rule is like, it's like one of those things where I have the goal. I mean, the goal, i.e., mean I have the money or the power. Because you're talking about the
Right.
Romans, right? They go in there and they still like their religion, their way of life, their culture. The conquistador does the same thing to the Incas and the Aztec and the Mayans and all that. And so the civil rule is where society operates, and then the golden rule is a step up once you have attained a certain advantages. Like the bully, right? The bully guy, the bullying is
But I don't think the golden rule is a step up, though. I think the platinum rule is a step up.
no,
But like
the golden
the golden
rule
rule
in the way that I defined it, which is
oh, I
the
see, I
guy
see,
who
I see.
makes a goal, the guy who
Right.
has a goal makes a rule.
Sure.
Right? That is a good. The other, this fucking rule is a pussy.
It doesn't even make any sense. Like the silver rule is what you're talking about with the silver rule principles is I think what a lot of people think the golden rule is. It's like do unto others what you would want done to yourself. Meaning, like I wouldn't
Mhm.
want somebody to fucking slap me in the face, so I'm not going to slap you in the face. That is not what the golden rule. That is the silver rule, I
That
guess,
is
at that
silver
point in
rule,
time,
which
right?
is
Like,
everybody learns and lives by it because it's de facto in play.
right. But the truth of the silver or the truth of the golden rule is if you look at the words and what it actually says, it's action. like it's do unto others, right? Like you're doing something to somebody else, right? That you would want done to yourself. So you're thinking, well, I would do this, so I will do this
Yeah,
to somebody else, like,
I'm gonna swung mud,
right.
and
I think we should all go, damn, I like to eat frogs. I think we should all eat frogs, like I like to practice Catholicism. Everybody should practice Catholicism. That is what the golden rule is saying to me if you actually take it literally. The opposite of what the silver rule is I think what a lot of people actually think the golden rule is, which is
Mhm.
don't do that to me because like I wouldn't want that done to me, right? So I think there's a really important distinction between those two. If one is action, one
I
is
mean, you're
inaction.
talking about the golden rule. It's been, like pounding to our head for ages, and it's
But
not even. It's not
but I mean, if you would have asked me before this whole journey, hey, what is the golden rule? What does this actually mean? Tell me the golden rule and tell me what it actually means. Well, it means I'm not going to punch somebody in the face because I wouldn't want to get punched in the face. That's not what that means, right? Like that's exactly what we're saying is the opposite of it. It's not do something to somebody. That is not what the golden rule means, right? So I think it's just like we've all interpreted this growing up as
Right,
the silver rule, really, but it's really that's not what the golden rule is.
right. The golden rule is to me, it do us more harm than good. Okay,
Mhm.
because first of all, it does nothing. There's no benefit. Second of all, it creates this pussy mentality. Okay, the problem I have with the golden rule is that it let people create this mentality of, oh, I'm not gonna stand up for myself.
Right.
When you don't stand up for yourself, right, you're gonna get bullied because the actual golden rule will apply.
Do unto others as you would have them done
No, no,
do
no.
unto
The
you.
golden rule, as defined by society,
Right.
it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
it's not a golden rule because the actual golden rule is what creates the bullying. If I'm this weak guy, right, and you come and you punch me in the face,
Hurt people hurt people.
you do that because you are bigger, you are stronger,
And you're in
and
pain.
and you think I don't punch back. And
Right.
that's the only reason why you do it. But if a guy who is like 6 foot, they don't dare punch me in the face. You know why?
Is your honey badger?
I don't know about that, but I'm a beaver.
You haven't ever heard of a honey badger? You know what a honey badger is?
Yeah, 100.
Yeah. Well, you know Tyron Matthew. I know you know
You're
that,
talking
but like,
about it, right?
yeah.
Matthew JJ Watts?
Have you ever seen a honey badger at work?
No.
You know
But
why they call
I
them?
know what you mean.
Yeah. Well, they're like psychopaths. I mean, they're like like they're tiny little looking
Yes.
dudes, but
Yes,
then
I
all of a
am a
sudden,
psychopath. I am a psychopath. So the thing is they don't mess with me because I stand up for myself. I don't apply this golden rule shit, right?
right.
I apply the silver rule, meaning that regardless whether or not I'm small, I will get a punch in. You may punch me 2 times, I will punch you 1 time. Still, I will trade. I will
This
trade
dude's
punches.
nuts. He's like, hey, what's up, Fox? I'm kicking your ass. Hey,
Anyone.
coyote. What's up? This guy just walks around and he's like, Gary, honey badger don't give a shit.
The silver rule is what you need to apply yourself to and understand that because you need to stand up for yourself. If you don't, you can get bullied. The Aztecs and the Incas and all these get wiped out because they didn't stand up for themselves. You look at the people who are completely being like enslaved and in like put into this category is because somebody is bigger than them has shown some advantages and they don't stand up. And this is the reason why they continue to bully you because you take the quote unquote fake golden rule and apply it to yourself
Agreed.
because you think they're gonna do good things to you because they want you to do good things to them. No one can care. So
The honey badger video is so plain.
yeah, I mean I know what a honey badger does, and they do have reputations, and I think as a culture we know honey badger has a reputation. That's why
Yeah.
you talk about Todd Matthew, you talk about JJ Watt. These are honey badgers.
Yeah, you do not want to do unto a honey badger because they will golden rule you the shit out of you. Anyway, all right. So my actual reflection of this one was my own little rant about workplaces, right? Like one of my biggest pet peeves in the corporate world has been the golden ruling of over the past 30, 40 years in the corporate world, they've had this epiphany, this great epiphany of, oh my God, if we unite people around a purpose and values and help them to connect to those and kind of jam that down their throats, like explosive shit happens. And we can really scale culture and organizations around it and make a whole lot of money out of this, right? So the idea when you take the silver rule, if you apply it to that philosophy, when I sit back and think about it, like if you ever values and purpose is so deeply personal. Like somebody telling me what my values and purpose are in a role, and telling me what my meaningful work is, and telling me what I can and cannot do and how I should do that is almost unfathomable to me at this point in time in my life and the journey that we've been on, to say that you could strip somebody of, talk about the silver rule, like the
That
corporate.
is the hidden golden rule that
It
don't talk
is
about, which is like,
right.
oh, I have the money, I'm making you follow my
You're
course.
me. You are like I talk about silver rule. The last thing I would ever try to tell anybody in this world is what they care about, and what is meaningful work to them, and what art they can and cannot create in this world and bring into this world. Like the last thing. I mean, I can't even imagine telling somebody that. Like literally watching Taylor Swift sing a song and be like, Taylor, that's great, but like honestly, I really need you to focus on marketing and getting out these blog posts that we need to get out. I don't even know what to fucking even say to that.
We've been
Taylor, this
we've
song you
been
just made,
selling.
it's good, but it doesn't really apply to trust, customer success, and innovation. So like, I think we're gonna just leave shake it off over here. And can you give me a song that's more like about, you know, trust, customer success, Ohana? Please, like, can you do that? That's our purpose here.
That's your purpose now.
That's your purpose. So put down your 4-time Grammy Artist Album of the Year capabilities, and please, for this fee, do this. But the worst thing, True, is even if she accepted that, they could, and even if she bought into that, and even if she was like, you know what, I really do believe in these values, and I really love the purpose in the community that I'm around in this particular environment, and even if she adopted all that, and even if she started to thrive in that, then they could say, sorry, Taylor, like, it's been a good run, but like all these values and purpose that we gave you, that you believed were now values and purposes of yours, we didn't make our quarterly profits, that we needed to make, and shareholder values down. So sorry, but like,
You're
out.
not in the hall, Hannah,
Yeah, you're not.
anymore.
You no longer have values and purpose.
Privilege has been canceled.
Thanks for putting on hold all the meaningful work that you wanted to do, but you're excused now. Like, I mean, and like it's just mind blowing to me, the violations of silver ruling that's going on. Then when really all they need to do is get out of their fucking way. If corporations just followed the silver rule and said, hey, Mark Benioff, would you want somebody to impose their values onto you and what you're doing? Of course you fucking wouldn't. Why the fuck would you do that to your entire organization? Like, why would you do that to every single person? I'm not saying that organizations don't need values to guide the organizations, but that's at the entity level. Everybody else should have the exact same right and ability to do that at the individual level, and the corporations should support that. And if they did that, they would probably make a lot more money out of this stuff, and they would probably get people that actually cared more about what they were doing, and they probably wouldn't have to fire people all the time for this shit. Like, it just really bugs the shit out of me. Like, horrible some aspects of our world treats the silver rule in life.
I mean, I think the silver rule, like I say, is a de facto rule that is in play all the time. Okay,
all the time. It should
and
always
then
be in.
Whether or not it should or should not, it's all the time.
It is.
But until the silver rule applies, until you have a golden rule that you have the advantages. The golden rule has two faces, right? The real one, and the one they give you. Okay, the real one is, I have the power, I can enforce whatever I want. The person with the gold makes a rule. Okay, the rule they give you is you take what you take my shit.
What's important to me.
I take my. This is what the golden rule definition I'm giving to you, because I have the power. I say, well, I give you the shit, right? My shit I give to you. You should appreciate. This is what they rewrote the golden rule to be. But the actual golden rule is, because I have the power, it negates the silver rule. Because if I were to impose my values onto you, you impose your values onto me. I don't want that. That's the silver rule applied. But because I have an advantage now, I can activate the golden rule, which is what I say, the real golden rule, as I define it, is the guy with the gold makes the money, or makes the rule. Therefore,
I like that a
you can
lot.
do whatever you want to do, and then on the flip side of it, in order for me to get that golden rule applied, I rewrote the definition to give to you, so you take it as a little chum, and you say, "Wow, you give me the shit. I appreciate it." Blah blah. This is the golden rule in corporate America, in the world, the way it works. But you look at the history of things, right? Look at the Inca, look at the Mayans, look at whoever does whatever back in the history. You can see the civil rule and the golden rule, as I state, applies.
I agree with you, actually. I love that a lot because you're right. It's whoever does have the gold usually makes the rules, and they not only tell you what you can and
It's
can't
not
do.
usually,
Now,
it's all the time.
but it gets even worse. I feel like it's gotten even worse in modern times because they not only tell you what you can do, they actually dupe you into thinking that this is what you want to do. Like they
Why do
actually
you think they call you Ohana at Salesforce?
I
It's
know
not
that's what I'm
like
saying.
they
It's like
care. It's not like they care
they
about, hey,
don't fucking
I'm sorry, we didn't make quarterly. Ohana, it's okay. I'll give you some of my salary, $1 million salary. I'm gonna give it to you, right?
right.
Did they ever? No, they increase their salary and they cut you. Like, your privilege has been canceled. To me, this is the hypocrisy of it. It's because
It's
on
gross.
one face of the golden rule is I use advantage for myself, and then I
Right.
return it around on the other face and I show to you. Golden rule, I'm doing for you. It is for your own good. I'm giving you
Right.
gifts, a present,
Yeah.
whatever, and you shall take my shit with pleasure. If
and
you
then
think about what I
and not
just
only that,
said,
and you just leave people out in the cold going, what do I care about? Like, and I mean, it's just mind blowing how much I would never want to do that, somebody to do that to me. And then we do that to people all the time. And they probably do
we
it thinking
sure
it's the
do.
golden,
This
they
is
probably
the
do it,
actual
it's the
golden
golden rule.
rule.
Right. Yeah.
The golden rule that as people know it, it applies to the chum that is on the receiving end.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Right?
right. I mean,
Which is
it's
what?
a
Like, we're
one-way
talking
street.
about the guy who has the goal, which is like 3% to 10%. So
Right.
it's like 3 to 97 or 10 to 90. This is the percentage. So the people who are in the minority that has a goal, they're not going to say, well, this is a golden rule, this is a golden rule, is that, right? No, they say everybody's golden rule is, this pussy mentality of, if
We'll tell
somebody
you what's
slaps
up.
you on one chick, you out for the other chick.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way.
It's beyond horrible. All right. I feel like that was a fun one. Taleb always brings out good conversations because he's a very provocative thinker. Silver Rule is very good. I am just apparently at my wits' end. My back is killing. You remember it was 2 months ago that I did my month of my rucksack running. Well, today I'm not doing that this month, but I still try to do it once or twice a week just because I think it's a good workout to supplement in the middle of the workout. This week, for whatever reason, my legs were like really sore. I think it's because I feel so inflamed from all the stress right now. And I went on this really long rucksack run today, and my back is killing me. I swear to you, I'm starting to get a worse headache right now just because my back is tightening up really bad from this stupid rucksack on my back. So I'm going to go put CBD balm all over my back and go lay down and go to sleep because it hurts. All right, that's my ass.
That's our rant for today.
All right, so question we can leave for everybody is: are you imposing your values on others against their will? And if you are, shame on you. Like,
you are.
and if you are, stop it right now. Just stop it right now and take a really hard look.
I think majority of the people, they are imposing on somebody's will, right?
Well, even if you're a parent and you're imposing
We
your
do.
will on your children.
I mean, your sister, your friends impose values onto you.
Oh, yeah.
Say, hey, Chris, smoke this weed.
How could you vote for Donald Trump? What is wrong with you? Like that guy stands for everything that's bad. I'm not saying it did, but I'm just saying, like, people could
happen all the time. That's why I say chances are you are imposing your values onto other against their will.
And if you are, fucking
I mean, your
stop
parents
it right
say,
now.
hey, why aren't you putting Luca to this? Why aren't you this?
That's what you care about. Like, don't talk to me. That's another great example of like the daycare thing of like, hey, Chris, just fucking put him in daycare. And I'm like, no, that's what you think you should do. I don't think that. So don't tell me what to do. Like my parents tell him, like, I think I like, ironically, silver ruled my mom to,
Yes.
like beat it into her, like as a 7-year-old. When like I was like, don't you fucking you fuck my laundry up again, I'm fucking done with this. Like I would never fuck your laundry up.
My point when I said you have to stand up to yourself and apply the civil rule, otherwise you golden rule will apply to you.
take care of your shit, but do your own shit and leave other people alone. Like, is the fucking point.
Right. The thing is,
unless you absolutely know that that's what they need.
My principle is that, I do my own thing, right? And I don't impose my shit onto you, but don't ever impose your shit onto me, because I ain't taking it. I ain't taking none of that. So that's my philosophy.
Not fucking happening. Well, hey, you can call us both ODD or whatever, the oppositional defiance disorder or whatever. Like, fine. I think everybody should be ODD. Like, and I don't mean that jokingly. I'm being serious. Like, if somebody tries to tell you,
this is what I'm talking about.
Like,
is you want to stop bullying, right? Get bullied. You need to stand up for yourself, right? Do the honey badger thing to them. I mean, a guy who is a jock in high school, I'm a little guy, but no one's gonna mess with me. No one.
Right.
Seriously, no one mess with me. If you want to go, I go.
All right. Thanks for joining. We're almost there. Thanks for joining. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye.